Hello and welcome back to another video with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV, continuing our coverage of patch 6.5, Growing Light. In this particular video, we will have, I guess, a minor spoiler, just talking specifically only about the minion and what it relates to for the brand new dungeon. We're not going to talk about the dungeon, we're not going to talk about the story or anything else, just literally the minion itself, so we can do a video on it. I've made the thumbnail as as nondescript as possible, but at the same time it's kind of, fairly obvious. But yeah, honestly, don't go any further if you don't want to know what the minion is, I suppose, or I guess, I don't know. We're not going to talk about the dungeon though, so there's not really too many spoilers here. But regardless, I thought it was worth mentioning, and that's why I'm preambling a bit, so that people have time to press the autoplay button off, because I know that exists on YouTube, and I've had comments about it before. But that being said, okay, now we're going to look at the minion. So the new minion is, of course, Golbez, and we're not going to talk about anything to do with dungeon. In fact, I haven't even done it yet. I bought this from the cash shop in-game from a market board. So this is Wind Up Golbez. It says, summon your Wind Up Golbez minion. Too small to conceive too small to conceive of and carry out a mass invasion of the source. Or is he? Interesting. This automaton modelled after Golbez was discovered in his domain in the depths of the 13th moon. Perhaps created by one of the Black-clad Knight's loyal minions, it boasts peerless attention to detail and exudes an unshakable resolve, albeit on a diminutive scale. The hidden text when you highlight over the patch says, Golbez? Of course I know of him. Only a fool without ears wouldn't. A quote there of the fearful Voidsent. If we summon Golbez, then immediately the first thing you'll notice is the size of the minion in comparison. It is one of those full-size minion jobbies. He is as big as up to nearly the inner thigh, just about knee height. The helmet kind of brings it a little bit ahead of that into that thigh region of height. Minion. That is crazy, actually. Absolutely crazy to see a minion this big. It is worthwhile doing, though, because you pack in all that extra detail. As you can see, Golbez has this interesting stance that may or may not be related to whatever he's doing in the storyline. I wouldn't know. But he's really cool. The texture quality is lovely. It's exactly what we wanted, really. It wouldn't be the same if we went through all this and we didn't get a minion of him. It was fairly obvious that this was going to be the minion, so I don't think many people will be too surprised by this. The texture quality is lovely. He's got this big, beautiful sort of royal blue cape at the back there. And yeah, the detail's pretty good. The only detail I would qualm about is probably around the collar there at the back. It looks a little bit pixelated. But, I mean, you're not going to see this very close up all the time, are you? They've done a really good job. They've come on leaps and bounds since some of the first minions they added to the game way back in Heavensward, where, and A Realm Reborn specifically, where seeing this in the game would blow your mind, honestly, in comparison to what we had. Very basic stuff. So you might be wondering what other things he does. Occasionally his idle animation is to do the actual ability itself, where he will kind of do like a cast off with his hands. To trigger that, we can get him to do that by poking him with the Mammutier Pet Collection title on. Any Pet Collection title will do this, but he will not obey you. Otherwise, he is not an obedient minion. Therefore, you will need to use a poke emote with that title on to get him to do it when you want him to do it. Otherwise, he will just do this as his toggleable, like, idle animation when he walks around, basically. He'll just occasionally do it, but we can force that. We can also get him to eat from a hand, obviously, like every other minion in the game, or most of which, with a hand over emote. We can't beckon him onto our shoulder or anything like that. He's just too big. Pet, obviously, doesn't do anything, but yeah, so that's his animation. Let's go into G-pose, go into bit where we hide my character, and then you'll see that animation a little bit better. So it's like, rah, like he's about to cast magic or something, as probably you notice is related to the storyline. But yeah, there's not really too much to talk about. I'm glad that I did this video before actually doing the MSQ myself, because that way I have very little to spoil you on, because I know nothing about the dungeon apart from that minion text. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where the storyline goes, and seeing it wrap up. Quite honestly, I'm excited to see what comes next, and even more excited for Dawn Trail. But yeah, what a nice little minion, and a great one to add to our collection, and a great memory to keep from what was an interesting storyline. Probably not my favorite, but definitely an interesting storyline. Anyway, much love. More videos on the way covering all of the things added in patch 6.5 of varying difficulty to obtain and things to, you know, record over time. So bear with me a little bit. I need to go out of my way to get some things done, like custom deliveries and things. Takes a week or so. So anyway, much love. Have a great one, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.